Hello and welcome to Arts and Wellness Café. Welcome, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me today. So this is the first Arts and Wellness Café for 2021 and I'm thankful that I get another year to do these videos and recordings. And as with anything, well, firstly, I'm competing with my son's doing his music next door, and yeah, so you'll probably hear that in the distance, along with the tweeting of the birds and my wind chime out there in the garden. But yeah, so 2021 is the year where, you know, you really need to, and I'm talking to myself, you know, if this fits you as well, then that's great. But really need to look at the things that you're doing, fine-tune them, decide what needs to go, decide what needs to stay, decide what needs to be developed, and build from there. You know, we're around the world still going through our global events, and I know that in the UK you've got lockdown now in certain places, and here in Barbados our numbers are increasing, and we have currently we have a 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. curfew, and so within all of that you have to think about what it is what impact that is having on you. So a lot of people went through 2020 thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, when we get to 2021, you know, everything will be cool, fine, and, you know, we can get on with our lives and go back to normality. But what we found is that is not the case, and we have to again look at and review and see what things we have to do in terms of moving forward and growth. And despite the situation, we can still do both of those things. Move forward in what we call the new normal, and we can still grow in other areas that we may not have been able to grow, or that we may not have focused on, because this whole situation has meant that you've had to focus on certain other areas. You've had to develop certain other areas. For those people who are able to work from home, you know, where they may not have had that opportunity prior to the lockdown, and also the people who've had to develop new strategies for their work, new ways of working. A lot of organisations here in Barbados have gone online, so especially paying your bills. So they made it so you won't have any issue paying your bills, because a lot of people use anyway, it doesn't matter. But so a lot of businesses around the world have recognised that being online is meaning that they can still conduct their business. And as creatives as well, we have to look at that, and a lot of people have. There's been more online forums, Zoom meetings, exhibitions online. There was a recent art auction. There's quite a few art auctions online. Check out Stephanie Gagas, and Artist Studio Tours recently had online auctions, and I've been part of both, and so it's really nice for artists to be able to still continue to share their work. I was involved with the NCF and showcased and shared some of the work that I've been doing, and more recently I was part of the Catapult Online awards. So I won 2 awards and was able to share some of my work, and I'm still I shared sort of like the videos were like 20 minutes, and what I'm doing is going through and cutting them up so that, you know, maybe you just wanted to hear a small part of what I do, or see, I showed various things in some of the videos. So going online is something that, you know, we all have to consider, and we all have to look at what that means for the work that we do and the work that we're sharing. And I mean, I've always been part of like online courses. I've done a lot of courses online, especially ones where, you know, the tutor or the tutors, if it's like a group of teachers, are all over the world. So how do you then take part? Having an online course is something that actually is really then beneficial. So I think we've all had by now experience of the impact that being online can have, and the way in which we can still connect with each other, communicate with each other and interact. And that is really important, I think, as people. That's it. I think that's the one thing that can be scary, but if you imagine if you didn't have access to loved ones who may be halfway across the world, how you then would feel cut off. And a lot of people still do feel cut off because they've not been able to take advantage of being online, or don't have access to the internet or a computer. And so a lot of our elderly and a lot of those who are in care homes, practically all of those in care homes, because even though you think, you know, a care home can kind of get like the one that my mum's in. I mean, we tried ringing on New Year's Day. We'd had an appointment scheduled and nobody picked up the phone. And it's just like, what's the point of having a system if you're not going to, you know, make it work? And, you know, or telephone the people who've got appointments scheduled to speak to their loved ones and let them know that, okay, you know, well, we're short-staffed, or this is the issue, rather than nothing. So, you know, there are still lots of people who are not online, and I think out of the 7.7 billion people around the world, 3 whatever the number is, but I know it's 3 point something billion people are online, have access to the internet. I'm not sure what the figure is of people creating content, but there's still not enough content being created, because if you think about, I mean, many of us have binge watched programs and I admit that I've done that as well. And so the formula that Netflix has is that, you know, ideally they want you to binge watch. You know, you got 10 episodes where you would normally wait, you'd have to wait a week for the next episode. You can watch everything in 2 days, you know, like 10 episodes, you know, or, you know, go through a whole series of episodes in like a couple of days. And so when we think about what we're doing and how we're sharing it, you may want to adopt some of that formula, like, you know, producing regular content. So if you're a creative, you may want to at least once a week share something about your process, you know, talk about your work. And you're not only doing it for other people to see, because there may be somebody halfway across the world that is really interested in the work that you do. And so, you know, that is a great reason to be able to share it. But you're also documenting, you know, once it's gone online, it's just there forever. So think about what it is, what kind of things you want online. But it's a great way, even if you keep the stuff private, for you to document the things that you're doing and, you know, share between your family, because it's only those people who you give the link that will have the link. So I think that's for in general for people. But if you are a creative and you want to gain more exposure, you have to be doing some sort of video. Yeah, there is no two ways about it. You have to be, your work has to be in some shape or form online. People have to be able to see it, because you're limiting yourself if it's only people in the country that you're in that can purchase. And especially in these times where, there's no travel. I don't even know what the post is like. I mean, I did get a letter the other day, but things are very much delayed. So, whether it's, again, videos, blog posts, podcasts, they're all things that you can maybe think about doing if you're not doing it as yet, to share your work and to shine your light around the world. It's no point, you shine a light under a blanket, what use is that? Unless you're trying to read under the blanket. But again, share your work. So some of the things that I would love, I'm still thinking about some of the things and ways in which I want to advance the Arts and Wellness Café, and it will probably be more to add. So I'm thinking on my feet now. I have I'm kind of doing some work in the background, so it would have more, not an interactive kind of basis, but to have additional things and maybe show you some scenery of the area, my garden, but just to make it a bit more, and I don't want to use that term, but I'll use it so you'll kind of get an idea, magazine-y type. A friend used that term, and I understand that there's more different segments to the show, but in a way that this is us strolling, this is us coming together and chatting, and oh, by the way, let's have a look at this, and then we go and have a look. So it's that kind of thing, and even maybe thinking about some suggestions, like being more mindful or meditative exercises, or something that will probably be along the lines of something that I'm making, and we'll look at that and we'll maybe do some of it, and I'll give you some pointers of how to do it, and give you just some more hints and tips. Relaxation, being still, finding stillness, how to start on your road to being creative if you're not already, and how to maybe unlock some of those, and get rid of some of those fears that we may have when we approach thinking about our creativity or thinking about doing an activity. So it's that kind of thing that I would like to, going forward, build upon in the Arts and Wellness Café. What do you think? So I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if there's other things that you'd like to see, I'll definitely consider them, and really kind of take you on a journey, so that when you come and spend time with me, you are transformed into a magical place that you feel comforted, you feel inspired, you feel that you've had a good laugh, not at me but with me, or it's just that kind of feeling. It's about the feeling. I want you to feel good when you've come and spent time and feel inspired, like you think, oh my gosh, I really want to try that. So I was looking at there's an artist, and she teaches, called Jean Ann Oliver, and she as part of her mailing list, I think she sent it out to a part of her mailing list, but she was offering some, I've got falling over there, my foot's on the heater, just elevated on the heater, but she's got this. So she sent out this, it's this other artist, I can't even remember the artist's name because I only saw what she was making, and she was making these kind of bowls and cup type things from you know, the gauze, the plaster gauze. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never thought of using them like that. I've got so much, you know, I've got some that I brought back from, but I'd got in London. And I thought, I'd never thought of using them in that way. I use them as a kind of base for some of the sculptures. And, you know, because it gets hard and it's usually round an armature, whether it's a metal, you know, wire or I want to say tetracarbon, but I don't think that's the right word. Plastic, basically. Is it tetracarbon? Anyway, I'll have to look up that word. Look it up. But tetracarbon. Anyway. But I thought, oh my gosh, yeah, I really want to do that. And that's what I want you to go away feeling, thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to try that. Oh my gosh, she made that look so easy. I really want to try that. Or, you know, or that I've given you confidence to go and try something, or, you know, try something new, or reintroduce yourself to something creative. So that's the kind of feel. But I thought to myself, you know, I'm gonna try and make some of these bowls, but I'd love to kind of add different elements to it. So I'm going to be doing some research, and over the next few weeks, whilst I should be doing other things, I'm going to try and fit in kind of, just even if I just make some of the bowls, I'd love to do some other mixed media things with them. Yeah, I'm really kind of, I'm really excited about it, because I can feel all these elements of things coming together. There was a few things that I wanted to share with you, but I do want you to really think about, you know, going forward in 2021, and it's been really weird in that time has almost, like, every day's felt like a Sunday for some reason, and where everything's shut down. Like here we've had like a 5-day bank holiday, it would seem, and Monday and Tuesday were bank holidays. You obviously had New Year's Day, Friday, Saturday, so for Monday, and then they added on Tuesday. And it's just like all these days have kind of just blended in. And I think it's important that you, and I've said this before, and I might try and post them again, but you need to have some sort of schedule. You need to find a way to demarc the days so that you can keep a handle on your week. Now, I'm not, you know, I'm talking to those people who may not have thought of it. You know, there's some people who are ultra organized, so obviously you might be more organized than me, but I found having a weekly schedule of things that I know that on Mondays these are the things I do, on top of all the other things, but these are the main things that need to get done, and this is usually around my creative output. So it's important for you to really think about those things, because, like, even though I've got my, you know, schedule, I was still, today feels like Monday. Like either Monday, but then it was actually Sunday. And then it was just like it was just a really weird kind of experience. On top of, you know, I'm focused on quite a few things that I'm working on, and yeah, it was just felt weird. And so I wanted to encourage you to make sure that you know, schedule certain things to happen each week, and also scheduling some you time, scheduling some nurturing time, some personal development time, some reading time. That's one of the things that I'd love to do more of this year, to do more reading. And there's so many books I'd love to reread, and so many books I've got to read on my shelf. So actually that might be another thing that I share with you in the Arts and Wellness Café. I'll show you what I'm reading. Now, I'm not going to be reading a new book every week, but I might show you elements of things that I'm reading. And I do like there's a particular writer, but unfortunately she's passed, and I've read all her books, called Octavia Butler. She writes science fiction. She's a Black American science fiction writer. And I love, the art technique books. So I'm always wanting to learn new techniques and learn how to do certain things. I just love it, and I love power tools. I love gardening, and I'm growing a food forest. So anything to do with plants, and I've probably got over, let me see. So I started it's my plant folder, and this is what I'm putting all my all the plants that I have. So let me, I've got over 100 different plants in the garden, and they range from fruit trees to herbs to fruit trees and herbs, and plants that have medicinal properties. And so I've got over 100 varieties of different plants, and then I've got multiples of plants. So with my Moringa, I've got about 40 Moringa trees. Now I've got a Moringa patch, over 40 actually, because I initially planted 11 around the main bit of the garden, and then I wanted to have a Moringa patch so that they're closer together. They're about this much apart, about 8 inches apart, some of them. So the stems grow a lot smaller, but they're still producing the leaves. And where they have room, some of the trunks are like this big, so because I'm restricting their growth, the room in the Moringa patch, some of the branches are like that, but as I say, they're still producing the leaves, they're producing the drumsticks that you get from them. And so so I've got or papayas, I've got I've probably got over 8. Have I? Over 8 papaya trees? Yeah, of varying sizes. So I want to grow a food forest, and what I'm also doing out there is getting to know my space, because it's one thing having over 8 papaya trees, but are they all bearing fruit? Are they all at their optimum state to be, bearing fruit and productive? So that's the next stage that I've got to get to. I've got to look at the space and look at how close things are together. I mean, the Moringa patch is doing what it's doing. As I say, I've got other trees, Moringa trees around the garden, but where the aim is to have fruit from them, then you've got to make sure that again they're in the optimum they have them optimum conditions. And the other thing to remember is that for a lot of the plants I'm growing, like the mango tree, it takes 4 or 5 years to fruit. So, I mean, some of my trees are like about 4 foot now. So they've got a while to go before they actually, you know, are bursting with mangoes. So I'm just kind of going through all the different things that I'd love to do this year, some of the things I'd like to work on, things that I didn't get to work on in 2020, and thinking, well, what is it I need to cut back on? What is it I need to just remove, because actually I'm not passionate about that anymore. It's got nothing to do with creativity. It will be things that I maybe had an idea of and then decided, okay, no, I'm not going to do that again. And so it is important for you to also think about, well, going forward, what kind of things are you going to do? What do you want to achieve? What do you need to let go of? What do you need to do more of? As I say, I want to do more reading, and yeah, there's just that idea of sitting down with a coffee or a cup of tea and just, especially being out in the garden. I've visualized that, and it's something that I can make happen. So I've visualized at the end of when I do my work first thing out there in the garden, physical garden work. And then before I come back in, I've got a chair out there, and I imagine being brought a coffee and just chilling there with my coffee and, you know, a nice book. And I thought, well, you could make this happen. You know, get yourself a flask. Oh, so I got a flask. Make a cup of coffee, and that could be the nice, or a cup of tea, whatever it is, you know, because what I then do when I come back in, is make a cup of herbal tea, either, you know, plants from the garden, and a cup of ordinary tea. But that idea of, you know, sitting with a nice cup of coffee just out there, and the Caribbean breeze is blowing, and Cole's just sitting there, you know, kind of staring out into space, and we're just chilling, appreciating our surroundings. But yeah, there are certain things that you could do as well that you think, gosh, I've always wanted to do this, but you can actually do it. And so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm going to prepare a flask and then just sit there and chill and see whether it lives up to the experience that I had in my head. That might have involved some, you know, somebody actually carrying me the coffee, saying, hi, you know, here's a coffee you wanted. Yeah, so think about it, you know, think about all those things that you've always said, oh, I really want to do that, and you haven't. I mean, oh my gosh, another thing I was really excited about, I wanted to upholster a chair. I've got this chair now. It's 26 years old, but it's made by a designer, and it was really well made. The wood, I'm not sure what wood they used. It's very simply made, but it's really strong. And I've never seen, like, we've got chairs in there and they're not made half as strong as that. And it's the design, the way that it was made. And I'm thinking, one of the things I'm thinking is I'd love to take this design and create, you know, like some furniture from the wood that I can harvest from my garden. So that's one thing. But I've had this chair for that long. And as I say, it's very solid, it's heavy, it's, you know, it's a really well-made chair, but it needed upholstering. And I've had there's this fabric I had, which is a heavier, I guess it's more upholstery-like fabric. It's this one. Oh, it's this one. So I had brought this years ago. They had a bolt. No, they had this. I went to Oxfam, and it's Oxfam. It was Oxfam in Camden. I'm not sure whether it's still there, but they would sell, you know, like lengths of fabric. I think, you know, a manufacturer would, you know, just send it to them and they'd ship it out to all the different Oxfams. But this fabric, I really liked it. So I thought, you know what, you've been thinking about upholstering this chair, and I will show you a picture of it. You've been thinking about upholstering this chair for years now. Why don't you just do it now? I mean, what's it going to take? So then what I had to do is I sat down and I thought, okay, I have to take the chair apart. So it's usually just the backing, the back, the seat bit, and they're usually held in by screws. And it was just like, okay, and then, okay, so that's easy, you just unscrew it. And then it was just like, yeah, and then you staple gun the fabric to the chair. And it was just like, okay, you got a staple gun, you got staples. And so I did it. And it fits actually, because I'm tidying up my room, the bedroom. And I took out this table that I've got here was by my bed. And I thought to myself, do you know what? This needs to go, because it was just covered in stuff. Stuff was getting dusty and it was just like, well, it's dust. You know, you're having to... And I looked at the contents of the table and it's just like nothing there was needed apart from the books that I'd put there, the books I was going to read. Anyway, so I moved this table. Upstairs was a smaller... It's like a TV... It's like, you know, when they had the big back TVs, so the really old TVs. I think this was a table for the TV, and it had a kind of little door, and it's got shelves on the side. So I'm imagining, you know, you could put your DVDs or whatever if you wanted to, and you put your DVD player underneath. But it was in really good condition, and it's this kind of colour, maybe... It's kind of that, it's a pale kind of, it's a tan colour, but it actually goes really well with this. And it wasn't until I did the chair that I realised, oh my gosh, they really fit well together. So I'm just kind of fixing that corner and kind of trying to just go around the room and be more minimalist in the bedroom. You know, have less clutter. I'm let my studio be an explosion of colour and stuff. But even in here, I want to organise it a lot better. There are projects that I'm never going to work on, or projects that I really need to work on, or are ones that can actually be combined with something else. See, I may not have thought about combining it before, but now it's just like, oh, actually... they fit together, and I didn't even really realise it, and that makes a complete project. So I want to again go around, you know, the space and do some tidying up. But that said, oh, let me show you something else I did. I'm going to do a separate video, but this is a journal. I made this. I'd got it for my phone, but it turned out to be too big. So then I was just like, oh, what can I do with it? And I thought, why don't you just make a little journal? And this is something that, oh, that's the back. Is that the back? Yeah, there's one more page. This is something that, you know, you could take around with you. You put a little pen in there or in here. Will it fit? It'd have to be a thinner pen. But yeah, I love it. Fits in your hand. I could take it around with me. I could take my water brush, and or you know, I could have some washi tape in here because it's got pockets. There's so much that can be done. Do you want? I just ran in here like I'd been running away from something. But yeah, that's one of the things that I've been up to, so I will share more of that. I'll do like a flip through video and maybe even do a page of it. So I'm really pleased with that. There was another one that I'd made, but oh, it's here. Isn't that cute? That's this is an art bar tin, art bar. Derwent art bar, and so I've just put in a little mini journal. I'll share this one as well online, but you get to see it first. Look, it's got a little journal in there. It's a tin. I just covered it, done some, you know, embellishing. I love the way that the texture on there. And this side I found some alcohol ink markers that I have, so I was just playing around with this, and I thought, oh, why don't you just do that as a, this is the alcohol markers side, and then you can do, you know, some whatever you want basically. Yeah, so I really liked it. Saw and shine, but it's cute, isn't it? I was thinking about, you know, whether to do a closure, but I mean, it does close. It still does close, even though it's been covered. But I think it was a really good way to recycle the tin, because it was just sitting in a container. Because I was thinking, oh, you know, I might want to put the art bars back in there. Actually, it's Caran Dash water-soluble crayons, but I was thinking, yeah, I might want to put them back in there, but I haven't. It's just been sitting in this thing for a while. And then finally, this is my Neocolours tin, and I haven't yet put, this is what I've got in there at the moment is some ribbons, so I haven't yet totally decided that that's what I'll do with it, but I've just kind of you know, this is cardboard covered with fabric, and then it's also hand painted fabric, and then we've got this kind of African fabric, and then we've got the ribbons in here. So yeah, I haven't yet decided that I'd want to leave the ribbons in there, and I've still got to maybe think about a clasp, but maybe not. And I've got the texture in there as well. It's lovely. Okay, so that's what I've been up to. What I'm going to do is also maybe the video that I include after this. The video I'm going to include after this is a closer look at these three additions to the family. Mixed media additions to the family, and if you like them and you want to, you know how to make them, then leave a comment below and press that like button. So we're going to now go and see, you know, a bit closer of these. I want you to remember to look after yourself. If you know, need to get hold of me, you can contact me, DM me, or whatever it is, leave a comment, and I look forward to sharing the rest of the work. So come on, let's go. And again, you know, Happy New Year, and take care for now, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay guys, so here they are. I said I'd show you them. You're seeing them first before anybody else, and I'll probably be doing another a little quick flip through, but I thought I'd just share them with you. So this is a phone case, and all I've done, well, what I've done is I've created a mini journal in this bit of the phone case where the phone would normally go, and I have decorated some of the pages, but as I said, I'll do a flip through and then you can see the pages more clearly. But yeah, I really like it. And then I've still got some pockets here to fill. I had done some patterns. That's actually going to come off. I used alcohol ink on this, but maybe alcohol ink markers to just do a little pattern on there. I hadn't decided what I wanted to do yet. And then there are some pockets here that if I wanted to add things like, you know, some strips of washi tape, or anything that's not too bulky, that if I wanted to do some work in here, that I could. So that's that one, and it's nice that, you know, they have the magnetic things. And here's this one. That's the tin, as I said. And these are 2 tins, and this one's got ribbons in, and I've just covered that with fabric, and this has been covered, gessoed, and painted. So they're really nice. So that's it, guys. I'll do another flip through at another time, but thank you for watching. Let me know which ones you like, which one you like the best. Okay, but tune in for the main flip through. Okay, take care for now, and stay blessed and be a blessing.